Guys, this is one of the most insane call prints we have seen on a Mag 7 ticker this entire year. Look at this one on Tesla here, 12.9 million in premium plus the other 1.8 and 1.1 million in premium for both of these above for a 550 strike, even 555 strike here at a spot price, as you can see over here, 447 that they bought this. They bought the original one at 443 spot price for a 550 strike, and it expires in only 6 weeks. This is insane, incredibly unusual, and incredibly rare to see something like this. I can't remember the last print we saw, at least on Tesla, that was this far out the money and such a short dated expiration behind it as well. So crazy there. We also can check just to make sure the directional aspect. One, you can see the volume is over the existing open interest of this, and then also the overwhelming majority of this contract during the day was executed above the ask, and also the implied volatility here, 50.8%. If we actually compare it to later on, you can see here, obviously there's a time difference, but 52.07% on that one. And even some of the call prints higher, like up here for the 550, also 116.26. We can see 52.34%. So IV is increasing with time on those orders. Going to be interesting to see tomorrow how it opens, if there's any additions to it, to see if it's more multi-leg related if we look at the open interest. But as of now, it looks directional at the moment, which is an insane position. Like, this is one I'm going to be following very closely. And also with that, if we go to the chart, Tesla closed really strong today. It's actually above my key pivot. If you guys remember that from back in early November and October, 439.97. It closed above it on the daily. This looks very strong for a nice move higher all the way up to at least beyond the local highs, as long as it stays above this 439.97 level. And it kind of reminds me of a Wyckoff accumulation zone here. For example, we have the first segment of consolidation over here, and then the drop down, and then we have more of that accumulation here, and now is finally deciding to break out, and either it will continue just in a very aggressive fashion. Obviously, it won't be to time with this. You probably wouldn't expect to see 500 within a couple of days, but still, you'd see it go up a lot higher from here, or maybe it goes up higher, wicks above highs, and then comes down to form something like that Wyckoff accumulation pseudo inverse head and shoulder, with the left shoulder here, the head, and then the right shoulder. Regardless, as long as it's above 439.97, it is only bullish in my eyes. So I wanted to bring that to your attention here. As for some other things I noticed, there is a growing amount of gamma exposure at the 700 strike for the S&P 500. It's 1.6 billion worth right now. Also 1.3 billion worth at the 690. And these keep increasing. So you've seen it grow during the day. It just continues to increase with time. And that can act as a magnet as price gets closer, especially if it's in an aggressive fashion and you see more exposure at a certain level, then it can magnetize it, so to speak, and have price get closer and closer until it's satisfied. So we're starting to see a lot more interest at both of these strikes. Wanted to provide an update on that, as well as an update on Tesla, because if you saw some of the tweets recently, there was a lot of call exposure, a pretty substantial call wall at the 450 strike. And now that's up to almost 200 million here in overall gamma exposure. So a lot of interest. Would not be surprised to see this at least get wicked very soon, maybe as soon as this week, in the next couple of days, just because of how much interest is at this level, and spot price obviously is very close as well. And then lastly, for a gamma update, we do have NVIDIA, which has seen a substantial call wall at its 185 strike, obviously very close right now, but then also a decent call wall if we scroll up here to the 200 strike, 177.5 million in terms of gamma exposure there. So all of this has been growing, really not much to the downside on all three of these tickers. Really incredible what we're seeing in terms of overall call flow. And that's been consistent, especially for the past 1 to 2 weeks. If you go to X, you can see CHEDDARFLOW posted here, unprecedented tech call buying today, millions worth of calls on all the big names, and just ridiculous amount of premium on all these. Amazon, Microsoft, even with that dip it had earlier, Palantir, IWM, even for small caps, NVIDIA, etc. Just a bunch of that. And funny comment here, I just saw almost like they used that fake Microsoft report to get cheap calls. They would never. Yeah, that's honestly how the market's been going, especially this year in 2025. Just a lot of fake reports coming out. Like, if you guys remember during the tariff fiasco, they had that fake report and we had an 8% upday intraday move on the S&P 500 of all things. Like, insane things happening in the market. And you can compare to this post even just 6 hours ago, Tesla had 167 million worth of gamma exposure at that 450 strike I just showed showed you, which now is almost 200 million. So a bunch of call buying across the board here. And every single day, you could just see more and more calls getting bought. These Apple ones yesterday, guys, super unusual, actually highly unusual, flagged in the system. You could see with the blue highlighting behind it. And these expire by end of week and then also end of next week. And I'll actually show you that really quickly here on CHEDDARFLOW. First, I want to share a message from our sponsor, MooMoo, which is a brokerage platform. MooMoo is giving out up to $1,000 in NVIDIA shares and paying 8.1% APY on idle cash. Plus, the company is publicly listed on the stock market under the holding company FUTU, which is an extra layer of security. We actually get offered a lot of ad deals, but deny most of them because they don't follow our checklist. Our brokerage checklist is pretty simple. 1, reliable and widely trusted. 2, low fees plus fast execution. And 3, real-time data with a variety of great features. So if you're trusting a broker with your money, obviously you shouldn't mess around. MooMoo has over 27 million global users. It's licensed in the US, Singapore, Australia, Japan, Hong Kong, etc. They're also a FINRA member. You get SIPC coverage, which ensures up to $500,000 split between cash and securities. And they've racked up 100 plus industry awards. So bottom line, it's reliable, low fee and fast, and has a variety of data. Plus, we partner with them to give you a promo that hands you NVIDIA shares and pays you up to 8.1% on cash. Hit the link in the description or just scan the QR code on the screen to claim the offer and try it out for yourself. This amount of call buying is insane. 2.1 million in premium for the 290 strike, expires next week. 1.1 million for the 287.5, 1.6 million for 290, like an insane amount of premium in a very short dated time till expiration. Again, either Friday of this week it expires or Friday of next week. So I'm definitely watching Apple as well, kind of paired with Tesla right now, just because of the ridiculous amount of flow we've seen. If we go over to the chart, you can see it's been performing nicely after its breakout of this flag here. So we obviously have a very nice flag pull right here, followed by the flag consolidation and then the eventual breakout. And this can continue all the way up to who knows where. At this point, honestly, it's well beyond all-time highs. And as a result of that, it's only a long and strong for a while. Could even see 300 on the measured move of the flag pull here. So as long as it stays above, that is bullish. It's still possible, of course, that it could come down to retest and then bounce from there. However, based on the call flow we've seen recently, like I just showed you, this is something that could just continue with its momentum much higher from here. They were hitting the 287.5 and then 290 even strike in the short term. So definitely possible that they continue to appreciate on those calls as time goes on, and honestly probably won't take that much time either, just based on those expirations. So I wanted to share this chart with you guys as well, just because it is absolutely beautiful. A nice cup and then a handle breakout followed by a bull flag does not get cleaner than this in terms of a technical basis. So this is one of those where you just continue to hold for a while if you are long, or find a potential entry, a nice confluence with those call orders I showed you earlier. So very nice to see something like this on Apple. And of course, that'll probably support the S&P 500 along with it, which is looking decent right now as well. First of all, we are well above the original uptrend that it broke down from earlier in November, the one that goes all the way back to August 1st. We broke down below it back in the middle of November here, retested, rejected, and now we are well back above, and it's only been tech buying since all the way at lows. If you remember that, a bunch of put buying back here, and then they flipped to tech buying based on the CHEDDARFLOW account to the almost exact low of QQQ even over here between a bunch of Amazon calls, Microsoft calls, QQQ calls, etc. And it's been up ever since. We're back above the uptrend, which is very nice. All of this below here, which I'll circle for you, will act as bear bait. You guys know that term if you've been watching this channel for a while. This is acting as a bait setup for bears, which then they will get squeezed out as it continues much higher. I'd assume based on this chart, we will go back beyond 2 all-time highs, whether it decides it wants to come down one more time to retest 677, which is the uptrend retest and then go, or just continues to melt from here. I expect it to go higher. We're looking at like 690 plus definitely with that new all-time high. So I like the look of the S&P 500 too, just a lot of bullish aspects to this market. As you guys know, if you've been watching the past couple videos, if I go back to the flow, I'll give you guys an update on the dark pools. And really quick before I do that, you can still apply for CHEDDARFLOW's Cyber Monday sale, which is ongoing through the end of the week. It is 35% off. So you'll get that after the free 7-day trial. So you can click the link below if you want to have access to that. Now, also, you can see based on dark pools this week, not really that much in terms of today. If we go back to the previous 2 days, it's actually been fairly light across the board. We only had 1.6 billion in premium. And then you could also add the ones around here. So you're looking at about 2.5 to 3 billion. I guess that'd be 3 billion plus over here in total dark pool premium. Nothing that insane, all things considered. If we scroll down a bit lower, you can see pretty similar there as well. 1.2 billion in overall premium. So relatively light going into December here. Not as crazy as it was last month on SPY, but I did wanted to provide that update, as well as one final thing, which is actually an update on all of the Tesla call flow we've seen this entire week, not just the super unusual prints that were targeting the 550 strike. If we go back to historical flow here, we can see since Monday, it has actually been insane. It's been 84.9% call flow to 15.1% put flow if you filter for over 500,000 in premium. So obviously I showed you guys these from today, super unusual, like I mentioned, but also if we go back to previous days, we could just see, for example, 3.4 million in premium for the 440 strike, and this was at 428. So this person's already up a bunch. And we can see over here as well, if we scroll up, 1.9 million in premium, also for the 440 strike, they're up a ton. Same thing here, a 450 strike even, and they bought this at a 432 spot price, 1.3 million in premium for a couple weeks till expiration. They're up a bunch as well. So these guys are already killing it, and they continue to add into the strength, as we've seen, not only based on the singular prints here, but also based on what I was showing you earlier with Gamma. So super interesting setup across the board. A ton of dark pool activity as well on this name as of recent. You can see from today, actually after hours here, 587 million in terms of overall dark pool premium there, 510 million in a couple of minutes later. You could see 3 minutes after the close. So a bunch of activity on Tesla right now. This is sizing up for a potential monster move from here. So definitely continue, if I go back to the chart, to monitor this name. And obviously risk as of now, like I mentioned earlier, is 439.97. That's not a 1 minute candle, guys. That's something like a daily close under. And if it decides it wants to close under for one day, kind of like a head fake and then pop back above, then it's still on for more upside afterwards. So I do like it a lot around this area in terms of risk reward for that potential upside. Nice confluence with those whales as well. So we'll see what it can do from here. As always, appreciate you guys watching this video. I'll see you next time.